Joining us right now is another candidate running on the Republican primary ballot to replace Justin Amash here for the 3rd Congressional District. Joining us right now, Andrew Jackson Willis, coming on the show right now to talk about his campaign. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm wondering, why in the heck do you want to go to Washington, D.C.?
Well, I realize that it's a daunting thing in the times we live in, but I guess the first reason is because I deeply love the United States of America, and I want my children and grandchildren and yours as well to be able to have and experience all of the blessings that have been ours in this country. So I want to do what I can.
Now, this is going to be a pretty daunting task because I guess, and I don't know, Andrew, maybe if you know the answer to this question, but Justin Amash hasn't even really announced or declared, is he staying in the 3rd Congressional race, or is he going to run for president on the Libertarian Party?
Yeah, he hints at both on a regular basis. So you're right. I mean, it hasn't been made absolutely clear.
Well, one thing we all know, the power of the incumbency, him being the congressman presently. But I got to tell you, I mean, we're very conservative up here in the 1st Congressional District. And him voting with the Democrats and Nancy Pelosi more than he does with the Republican caucus. And then, as you know, coming out and voting with Nancy to start the impeachment inquiry against the president. Then finally, announcing what we have all known for a long time, I'm not a Republican. I'm not going to be a Republican anymore. I'm now an independent or whatever. Where are you at on a political party spectrum? Have you always been a Republican? Are you looking to support the president? Tell the folks a little bit about your philosophy.
Sure. Well, when you ask the question, where have I always been? I was raised in a home where initially we were, blue-collar Democrats, but it was before so many of the social issues were a part of things. And so I think about the time of Ronald Reagan, my family began to vote Republican. So I have been for all of my adult life firmly in the Republican camp, and I am there as I believe, a genuinely committed conservative. I'm very much concerned about the things you've referred to with Justin Amash, and I want to say, in all honesty, I voted for Justin Amash 5 times, but now I want to replace him.
Right.
And I voted for him because I believed he was committed to the Constitution. I believed that he had a grasp of the threat posed by our national debt, and he was opposed to the government spying on its own citizens. And those are 3 concerns that I share with him. But when he turned against the president and went off the rails in regard to the things you've already mentioned, I became gravely concerned. And so I believe that he needs to be replaced by a genuine conservative Republican.
Now, one of the things that we're going to be doing tonight is attending an event down in Grand Rapids. I'm coming down to help the moderator moderate the event. And I want to ask you a couple questions that hopefully maybe they'll come up tonight as well. Fundraising and being able to take on these other candidates in the Republican primary, perhaps, then end up running against Justin and or a Democrat in November in the general election. It takes a lot of money. What are you doing as far as your own personal sacrifice, dollars you're putting into your campaign? What are you doing as far as fundraising?
Well, I don't have a lot of wealth myself, and I've chosen to do something that is out of the ordinary, I believe. I've limited myself to basically 2 $20 donations from any individual or entity. So I'm asking people to give $20 and $20 for 2020. I realize that presents a tremendous challenge to me. It's an uphill battle, especially when you think about all of the money that is available to most of the other candidates and all of the money that has already been poured in to this race. And but I'm betting on the people. I'm betting that as we progress and as people have a chance to see what I'm trying to do, which is to include the people and to help convince people who are somewhat disenchanted and concerned that their involvement doesn't really matter because of elite establishment, because of wealthy donors, and because of powerful special interest. I want to help to convince them that the people can actually send their own representative to Congress. I want for the young man who works overnight at the local gas station party store, and the single mom struggling to raise her kids, and the elderly widow who sacrificially give $20 to my campaign, to know that nobody owns a bigger piece of their congressman than they do.
Right. And so that special interests, lobbying groups, big political wigs within the party, basically not going to be able to buy you.
That's right. That's right. And I'm offering not just a promise, but I'm offering proof of that by doing it this way.
Now, one of the things that I want to get on the record from all the candidates, I hope they get asked this question tonight, is where do you stand in supporting President Trump? Unlike Justin Amash, we obviously know where he stands, but where do you personally stand with this president?
Well, I'm very much in support of President Trump. I realize that there are people, even among, for example, evangelical Christians who tend to be strongly conservative, there are people who are reluctant in their support of President Trump because they don't like maybe something that he did in the past or even something that he said in the present. Mm-hmm. But what everybody needs to remember is that we, as conservatives, love the United States of America. We love our Constitution. We love the Republic. We love our First Amendment rights, our Second Amendment rights. We love the whole Bill of Rights. We love when conservative judges are appointed to the Supreme Court. We love that people are being employed and getting good paying jobs in record numbers. We love to have choice in relation to our children's education. Mm-hmm. We love our religious liberties to be protected. And all of these conservative causes, the things that we've been committed to for decades, are being championed by President Trump in a way that no president, at least in the history of my lifetime, has been able to advance them.
If you do win the Republican primary, go on to defeat Justin and or the Democrat in November, where are you at as far as building the wall on the southern border?
Well, I believe that we have every right as a sovereign United States to control immigration and control our borders. And so I am in favor of building that wall. I don't mind legal immigration, but I think that the left is doing something by way of this mass immigration that is uncontrolled, that is honestly intended to obliterate the sovereignty of the United States. And guys like George Soros are financing this effort. And so even if we are sympathetic as conservatives to those who long to live in a country like this, it has to be done legally. We have to control the borders because we have to see what the left is actually setting out to do. It's to totally destroy the republic and our way of life. Absolutely.
One other question that folks always are concerned about, and this is something that Justin, in my opinion, has completely failed on, is, of course, you want to represent your district, but what do you see as being the role or the, I guess you would say, job responsibility of a United States congressman?
Well, I believe that we are intended to represent our constituency, but the best way to do it is to be honest about who you are, honest about your principles. Let the people know what you believe, what you're committed to. And if that lines up with what they believe and they choose to send you, then you can be their representative and faithful to your principles at the same time.
Do you think that there ever is a time when you could see yourself going to Washington, a big lobbying company or lobbyist comes in and sits down, wants to hand you a big check to get you reelected, but says, we want you to sponsor this bill? How would you react to that situation?
The only way that I would sponsor their bill is if it was something I believed in, and at that level, then no big check would be needed. because it would be on the basis if I already believe it. I'm already committed to that. So there are big lobbying groups that represent causes that I align with, but I don't intend to change any of my principles to, to receive the big check or the advantage that group gives to me. And I hope that the way I'm going about this with saying I'm only taking, I try to pick an amount that, was within reach of just about anybody. And so I hope that I'm demonstrating at the very beginning that I want to avoid any of that kind of corruption.
Right. Don't want to be influenced by the donations. One last quick question.
That's right.
Let's talk about your campaign itself. Do you have a website that you could share with the audience?
I do. You can go to votewillis.com. You can find out more about me there, and I would ask you to take 5 minutes to watch my campaign announcement video. It's there, and I would sure appreciate it if you would give $20. There's a place you can donate on the website as well. I need the help of the people to get anywhere with this.
Yes, absolutely. Because, as you know, your opponents are definitely raising a lot of money from special interests and big donors, and it is going to take a lot of money to get you across the finish line. And one last question. Right. Talk about your family real quick. Are you married? Any kids?
I am married. My wife, Becky, and I have 8 children altogether. 5 of them are adopted, and we have 6 grandchildren and 1 more expected in January. So that's
very
my
good.
Family.
Got a big family. Yeah. That's great. And they're all supporting going to Washington.
They are. They're pretty enthusiastic.
All right, sir. Well, listen, I'm going to help out with the moderator tonight. I'm looking forward to attending and meeting you down at the wedding tonight. Yes, sir. And come up, shake my hand. Love to meet you.
Thank you, Trucker Randy. Thank you for having me on 97.7. I appreciate it.